Yo.
All right, we're good to go. I'm going to start us up. You ready? I'm going to start. You ready?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Nerd Soup. I am Beau Oliver, joined today by Teddy, and we are here to review the new Netflix movie, I Am Thinking of Ending Things, directed and written by Charlie Kaufman.
Jake, my boyfriend.
It's snowing.
Winter is coming in.
We have a real connection, a rare and intense attachment. I've never experienced anything like it. I'm thinking of ending things.
Huh?
What?
Did you say something?
I don't think so.
Weird.
It's sad to know that this movie probably won't get seen by a lot of people.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of people who see it are going to hate it. It's one of those movies, Charlie Kaufman, who has caught so many people off guard. It's kind of the unsuspecting viewer watching this movie, coming out of it and thinking, I did not understand any of that.
Honestly,
what did this mean?
It's like, honestly, I didn't like the movie, but I respect the movie. It's weird.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, like you just said, it was so hard to understand. I had to watch 2 videos to finally get it, but once I got it, I respected it so much more because his placement of little, like, I guess, Easter eggs explains everything now.
Yes.
Like, it all makes sense.
It's definitely a movie that warrants a second viewing because of that. You had a different perspective from me because you were really interested in the relationship aspect of the movie. The new couple have only been dating for 6 weeks, and they're going to meet the parents. And we've seen this time and time again. You thought that it was going to be a Get Out type of movie.
Exactly.
Because it does have some elements of the psychological thriller.
Every time this movie settled down where you thought it was going to be like a thriller or he's going to be a guy that's going to like capture her.
Right.
It would just turn out to be that he's weird, and it's how it seems. It's not how it seems, but it's literally how it seems in the movie.
And I think with Kaufman, you have to go into it and realize that you're allowed to laugh because a lot of his movies, because he is an absurdist, there's going to be funny moments that aren't, I guess, necessarily written to be funny, but they're almost unintentionally funny. And at times, I think it is intentional. The scene when they're talking about the basement door and the scratches, and she's kind of delivering all the cliches of what's going to happen. Oh, you've lured me here, the room where no one's supposed to go.
Even that maggot scene with the pig. I guess it's dark, but it's like his dad left the pig there for 3 days.
And you also have Jesse Plemons, Todd from Breaking Bad, delivering it.
But what was funny is that after he just gave this whole monologue about how the pig died of maggots, and you cut to the dinner scene, they're eating pig. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Well, that kind of...
You can see her face drop.
Right,
That's what's funny.
And it represents kind of some of the inconsistencies with this story. And at first, the way that I saw this movie, I saw it as a character lost in her own mind with Jessie Buckley. But near the end of the movie, you realize that this is really Jake's story. And you start to think, does this female character, does the young woman character even exist? Has he created all of these different identities in his own mind? But I like the idea of going out on a road trip because they say that it's good to know that the world exists outside of your own mind. But even when they do go on this road trip, she can't resist, and Jake can't resist being lost in past or future. They cannot stay in the moment. And to me, that was the most impactful theme of the film.
Yeah, they can't stay in the moment too, because every time Jake stops talking, Lucy starts going in her head, and then Jake interrupts her. It was so awkward. Before I found out that it was his imagination, it was just like she wanted out so bad already, and he just kept trying, and he kept interrupting her thoughts, and it was just such an awkward experience.
I mean, they're long scenes, obviously. They're in the car.
I think they're an hour each, actually.
It felt like a play.
Yeah.
It felt like 2 actors set, deliver your monologues.
It was strictly fucking acting their asses off, man.
Yes.
They were killing it, dude. I always want to say I can act, but it's like there's zero chance I can memorize half-hour skits of just straight talking and acting and making you feel what they're feeling.
You have to remember it, and then you have to deliver it like it's your own words.
Yeah.
And I think what was clever here is that Jessie Buckley's character, there's at times where she's delivering narration, but her character isn't speaking. So she has to kind of match her facial expressions to the tone of her narration. And I thought that was so brilliant with her performance, those moments in the car where she's just kind of flipping the switch between unsure of herself, insecure, to confident movie critic.
This movie is so frustrating because I felt one way, and what I thought the whole time just wasn't how it was when I found out what the movie really was about.
Yes.
It was because, like...
That's the quote on the Blu-ray DVD.
It was, right? What I just said?
Yeah. We're going to quote that, put it on the Blu-ray.
No, but I thought the whole time that she really was trying to leave him, and she was just trying to get home. But she kept getting reeled back in because of how, I guess, intelligent he was, and that he was able to talk to her and hold a conversation with her about knowledgeable things.
Right, and that was It's funny the way that they play with the idea of losing your identity to your partner. Well, you mentioned before we recorded that, Jake, a lot of the movie is him imagining how he wished things would have went, that he was this genius.
Like that whole end ballet scene is what he wanted to happen with this girl. He never pursued it, and now he's a janitor stuck in life. But if he would have pursued her, that whole ballet scene and got married to her, the janitor that cuts in to, I guess, steal her, that's his life coming in and him shutting down life.
Right, yeah, he doesn't get that traditional happy ending. And they even mention that, how with film, and the movie is very aware that it is a film, that
100%.
actors are cast as more beautiful because it's more appealing for the audience, and it's the storybook ending that he never got. But then you start to realize maybe there wasn't even an opportunity to talk to this girl because the stories are so inconsistent, and placing him as the janitor, a man who has been doing the same job for maybe 40, 50 years. Right, it's the routine. He's seen so many different people, and he mentions that he can tell where these people are going with their lives, that he's created so many different fantasies within his own head, within his own past. And it's clever that they started with the perspective of the young woman, because you're wondering, why is she seeing his parents age? Why does she keep drifting in between an empty house and a packed house? Why are these characters aging and de-aging?
Right.
Once again, it's hammering home the idea of not being able to stay in the present. And you just don't know what's real. And I'd be very surprised if the two lead actors of this movie aren't nominated for whenever the Oscars are going to be. But the parents, played by David Thewlis and Toni Collette, were just as good. And I think a lot of the deliberate choices in this movie to make the characters more awkward, those long pauses, the weird remarks, are given to the two parents. Because if you would think back on the first time meeting your partner's parents, that's what you would remember. You would remember the awkwardness and the tension.
Trying to impress them.
Trying to impress them, right, yes. You see that Lucy and Jake don't really engage with each other at the dinner table. It's all focused on the parents. And Thewlis has some of the best comedic lines.
Oh my God, dude.
And her back and forth with him about the paintings, the meaning of the paintings.
Yeah, like when they had that conversation, like you just said with that painting, with how he thinks that a painting can't be sad if there's no one in the painting to make you know that the painting is sad. Why would this painting be sad? It's like it's all perception on what you think art is. Right.
And throughout the movie, he's kind of plagiarizing different pieces of art, passing them off as his own in these fantasies that he's creating. And it demonstrates kind of a longing to live this sort of extraordinary lifestyle as a physicist or a poet or a painter.
Right.
And the characters in this movie, you can view them as real, or you can view them as kind of subconscious parts of his mind. And there's one scene between he and his mother where she talks about how he wasn't necessarily the most talented, but he worked the hardest. He wasn't born with these inherent gifts, but he made something of himself.
Yeah, he was a Guinness.
He was a Guinness, right? Yeah. And once again, playing with the idea of memory.
Oh, this so awkward, bro.
This whole time I thought it was genius.
Bro,
that's such a mom thing to do. I told all my friends that my son can answer all the genius questions. And she was great when she was kind of switching back and forth. Toni Collette. That's the thing. A character like that can completely ruin a movie if she doesn't know how to infuse the perfect amount of awkwardness and charm. Because she really goes there with her performance at times. Yep. And if it's not Toni Collette, if it's a lesser actor, then maybe that character just completely derails the film, but it doesn't, and she's fantastic.
Great scene from Toni Collette is when she finally makes Lucy go into the basement, when she's putting the toys away, and she tells him, stop letting them take control of you, and go downstairs, stop being afraid of them. And that's when she finally goes downstairs and sees the paintings.
Yeah, her going to the basement, it's kind of the end of the fantasy. It's reality creeping in. She's been getting these calls. She gets the nudge here from the mom to go down and discover the uniforms and the paintings. It's the truth. Reality, I guess.
I want to compare this movie. I don't think it's disrespectful, but I want to compare the awkwardness to The Room. This movie is just as awkward as The Room, but the complete opposite of The Room.
Oh, Tommy Wiseau's Room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, right. It's the difference between something that's done deliberately and something done accidentally.
How did you feel about the ending with him following the pig, him accepting his Nobel Prize award?
Well, that to me felt like reality mixed with some surrealism, obviously, with this animated pig. His death is kind of pathetic. He's following a pig and he's naked. And then his imagined death, once again, he's Jesse Plemons. He's delivering a speech from A Beautiful Mind. It's not even his speech.
Yeah.
And that happens several times throughout the movie.
If you don't know poems or plays, this movie's gonna go over your head a little bit.
Well, I stopped trying to keep up with the references.
Me too.
Williams Wordsworth.
Yeah.
I thought that was just a play on Shakespeare. He's a real fucking guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, throughout the movie, the Bone Dog monologue, when she reviews The Woman Under the Influence, these are things that they're not coming up with in their own minds. It would be impossible to review a movie like that on the spot or remember all the musicals when he says that he's not really a big fan of musicals.
Oh, yeah,
and
he
then
rattles
rallies
off
off 30.
Yeah, Lucy is kind of his ideal partner that he wishes he would have had in life. All these things is he's making up in his mind who his ideal partner would be in life. And it's sad to watch him go through that.
Yeah, it is very sad. And I think it's because, like I mentioned in the beginning, a character being trapped in their own mind. He's just been going through these fantasies for how many years now? He's finally just has had enough. We see his father is suffering from Alzheimer's and he can't remember anything. So in his old age, he is losing his memories. Whereas his son, as he grew older, that's all he had, were these fake memories, real memories, and eventually it just leaves him totally unsatisfied, in my opinion, with the life that he lived.
Yeah, so after he gives his Nobel Prize Award, the film cuts to the car covered in snow, and that's his death when he gets naked in the car and he dies of hypothermia. It's such a great shot. And then you hear the plow come in at the end for the guy to come find him.
Right, well, the whole film does have that kind of melancholy beauty. There's also an emphasis on colors. And they have that great conversation where they talk about colors are something that only exists in the brain. It's only when you bring light to an object does it have colors. And that's one of the ideas of absurdism, that life is inherently meaningless, but human beings, the ability to be conscious beings, the ability to carve our own paths, we give our worlds meaning. But it's sometimes difficult to find that meaning or to find the worth in your own personal meaning.
Yeah. He's so deep, like you said. He went with colors, how people see colors, and he went to people how see time. That's when I thought.
Yeah, time was very important.
That's when I thought all of the de-aging and aging was coming into effect because they were saying that people's minds perceive time differently. I thought she was seeing herself in the mom, and why she kept seeing the mom age, and it's like, oh shit, that's gonna be me if I stay with Jake.
Well, his movie Synecdoche is one of the main points that people take away from that movie is everyone is everyone. And I think that's a good point where she's seeing the future of her mom and possibly this could be her future as well. We don't necessarily know. When you look at someone and you think, where are they going to be in 20, 30 years?
Dude, I do it to myself.
Yeah, exactly. You do
inevitable.
it to yourself. You do it to other people.
Right. It's such like an everyday thing.
And sometimes they talk about the way that we treat the elderly in our society, that we can be very harsh towards them.
Yeah, Lucy said it's a warehouse. And she finally like congratulates Jake, and he finally gets his thank you and good job for all of his accomplishments and being a caretaker. It cuts to Jake being a janitor too. It's a great metaphor, man, because he's literally a caretaker of the school, and he's finally getting thanked for everything he's done. The last scene is like so peaceful. I'm like, dude, he ties everything in, man. When Jake's dad says that line about how can it be a sad painting of woods if there's no one in the picture to make you know that it's a sad painting, that last scene of him in the car, I guess of what I think is him in the car dying of hypothermia, it's such a peaceful scene. It's a car covered in snow, bright skies, sunny, but he's dead in the car, which makes me feel sad. If you see it and you don't know what's going on in the movie, you might think that picture is such a beautiful picture.
I said it on my review. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars on my Letterboxd account. Follow me there, Beau Teddy, because that's
Don't
my new.
plug your thing.
I'm not doing out of 10s anymore. I'm doing
All
the 5s, the 5 stars. So I would give this 5 out of 5 stars. I think it's a masterpiece, and the way that you just described the ending, I might go back to the 10 out of 10 scale.
Let's go.
Just to give it a
So you
fucking
can give
10.
it a 10?
Yeah, just to give it a fucking 10.
I want to just say this quick. That first act, I texted you. That is it's the slowest, greatest first act of all time.
Well, that's
I
the thing.
I think it is.
With Kaufman, somebody described it as the most pretentious movie of all time, and for me, that's a good thing because I'm very interested in what he has to say.
That makes like so much sense. Dude.
Yeah, but he is a genius, and he's proven to be a very talented screenwriter in the past. This is the man who did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, one of the greatest screenplays of all time.
That's the only movie I know of him.
So
but
it's going to be a polarizing movie. You've already seen the response from critics and fans, but it's going to be a movie that for years we are going to come back and discuss, at least I think.
it's sad because I wouldn't recommend this to an everyday watcher. 3 scenes in the movie. It's 2 hours of acting. You're only going to really appreciate it if you appreciate acting and what Kaufman is trying to do with this movie. For that, I give this movie a 5. I want to get to the stars now.
I just fucking make a letterbox. There you go, and then you can promote it. Beau Teddy, follow me on Letterboxd.
All right, so I'm going to go 5 out of 5 stars, too. I'm going to make my own letterbox. I'll plug it later.
Why don't you do your own thing? Well, would you look at that? It's finally over. Hey guys, Beau Oliver here for one final send-off. Now, before I beg you guys to like and share this video, I'd like to thank our very special Patreon pledgers. We are very proud of the community we've been able to build here at NerdSoup, and it would not have been possible without our Patreon supporters. You guys are the true MVPs of this channel. Everything I've said, you keep the fridge full, you keep the lights on. There aren't enough words to thank you guys, but we'll do it anyway. Thank you. And we have a few videos coming up that have been suggested to us by Patreon pledgers. My Hero Academia, Neon Genesis Evangelion, and Full Metal Alchemist will be reviewed by Marissa, and yours truly, and Castlevania, which will be reviewed by Marissa and Aaron. And if you'd like to consider donating to our Patreon page, you can visit patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out some of the rewards we offer to our listeners. And really, we'd like to thank everyone who takes the time out of their day to watch our videos. Patreon pledger or not, your support is what keeps us motivated to keep giving the world our opinions on movies and TV shows and video games and pop culture, even though no one asked for it. We're still here, we're still yapping, and we hope you continue to join us. I'm Beau Oliver, and I support this message.